Hello, and we are live. Hi, everyone. Oh, we've got quite a few people on already. Welcome to today's webinar, and a popular one, isn't it, Just? I think it's actually one of our most popular webinars of the year so far. And this week we are talking all about end-of-year reporting. So we will show you how to use Coverage Book to easily gather up all of your existing coverage and quickly make summary reports, and how to quickly and easily adapt these for different audiences. As people are joining, and for any of you that don't know us already, I'll quickly introduce the team. I'm Laura, I'm Head of Customer Success here at Coverage Book, and I'll shortly hand over to David. David's our Head of Customer Support, and he'll walk you through the main demo part of the webinar. And as always, we've got Will on the keyboards. He's there to answer any questions that you have. So feel free to ask them as we go along, and he'll answer any he can. If your question needs more of a demo than a quick reply, we'll have a bit of a demo Q&A at the very end. So we'll get back to you then. I will also send a follow-up email to anyone that's registered with a link to this recording. So you don't need to worry too much about taking notes. Well, you can just sit that back and listen. So it looks like we already have quite a few people in already. So we aim to keep these sessions to under half an hour. So I will throw things over to David.
Thanks, Laura. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. In around about 20 minutes, we're going to cover making summaries using the Coverage Vault. So if you've never used that particular part of Coverage Book before, we will demo all of the features and get you up to speed on how to use that. But I actually wanted to start by talking about a few other features which can really help you save time and which can really be super useful when you're creating and sharing reports. So I'm just going to dive in and share my screen. Okay, so hopefully now you can all see my All Books page. And before we get started with any of the demo, I just wanted to let you know that for end of year reporting time, if you are looking to make some summary reports for your clients, we've been working hard to improve performance for supporting much larger reports. So if you do have lots of coverage to add to your clients to make up roundup books, you can now add all of those together and share that as an online link, and your clients will be able to open it and read that. Also, if you are making summaries and you are reusing coverage from existing books or from existing clips that you've already added to your account, this won't count towards your monthly clip usage limits. So please feel free to make as many summaries and as many copies as you like. That's fine. Okay, let's dive into the first feature, which is templates. I'm not sure if you already use this feature, but it can be super helpful and save you a bunch of time. So for example, with this client for women's football, I've got a few different reports here. And if you tend to use the same report formats for your clients month in, month out, if you click on the three dots below and to the right of any of your books and click on copy, you'll now see that you can copy as a template and also make a copy with the coverage included. And we're going to look at templates first. So if I click on this and then select copy, this will basically create an exact blank template of a report, and it will include all of that report's formatting. So if you've edited the front cover background color, you've selected some accents to keep your clients on brand, you've added a logo in there, perhaps you've even customized the metrics summary page to show the metrics that your clients are really interested in. All of those will be remembered and saved when you create a template. It will also remember things like the sections that you've added to your report and if you've added any custom pages as well. So it's a really good way of just recreating a book that you can kind of make blank templates as many times as you like. So hopefully that one will save you some time. Now, I also mentioned that you can make an exact copy of a report, and this can be super useful if you want to make a different edit of the same report. So For example, I've got this Euro Championship 2022 report here. It's got 3 sections of coverage in there, but I might want to just tweak this slightly if I'm sharing it with a different audience, say, for example, a social media team. So what you can do is you can make an exact copy of that report, and then you can just edit it differently. So for this particular one, I've called it social coverage highlights. I might decide to bump the social coverage section up towards the top so that they can see that first. So you can quickly and easily just drag that section up so that it shows front and center. And I might want to make some other adjustments as well. So perhaps I want to edit the custom summary cards here to show social shares first, for example. So you can actually tailor your reports to specific audiences, and you can make as many edits as you like. Now, the third feature I wanted to mention was highlights, and hopefully a lot of you will already use this. But again, if I dive into a report, as you are importing coverage to create new reports, you will see that there is an option to highlight the clip, and it's a gold star that will appear on the top right-hand corner of each clipping. And you will also see that as you're editing the clip in the main view. So you'll see that there's a gold star icon just on the top left. If you select a clip as a highlight, we will save that and remember it as one of the best pieces of coverage for your clients. And that has a few really good benefits. The first one is that it will actually add those highlights to a specific page in your report. So when you share this with your readers, they will see this highlights reel show front and center. This can be super helpful if you have a report with hundreds and hundreds of clippings in it, and you know that not everybody's likely to spend time reading all of it. The really great thing about this is when you share the report with others. So if I preview this book, they will see the front cover, any kind of nice custom pages that you've added to the book. They can review the metric summary, and then before they get to the coverage itself, they'll get this nice highlights reel. And all of these are viewable as well, straight from the report. So you can click through to look at these clips without having to dive into the main sections of coverage. So this is a really nice way of picking out the best pieces of coverage for your clients. And if you do use this regularly, at the end of the year, it also gives you an option to create some really good highlights only reports and things like that. Now, you can actually take this one step further. And if you wanted to create just a highlights only report, you can make an exact copy of any book in your account. And then what you can actually do is just edit that right down to show nothing but the highlights that you've selected. So for example, in this particular report, I've chosen those 6 pieces of coverage as the standout pieces. I've decided to move that highlights page actually right to the middle, so you can actually reorder the front matter pages to show anywhere that you like. And then I've still got 127 pieces of coverage in this book, but I might actually want to hide all of those from showing in the final report. And to do that, you can just click on the hide section icon next to each of these sections. We will still remember all of the metrics and rounded up numbers for the coverage, but we just won't present those in the final report. So essentially what you're left with here is a really quick and easy 3-page report that you can share to your clients. So if you know that they're really only interested in the headline numbers and just a few pieces, you can quickly create just a 3-page highlights only report, which is really nice and digestible. You could actually go one step further than this as well. And all of these front pages can be hidden from the report. So you could, in fact, choose to hide all of the highlights, all of the summary page in its entirety and just show the highlights. So you've got plenty of options there for customization. So we've had a quick look at templates, copying reports, and also how you can highlight the best pieces of coverage for your clients. I think it's about time that we dived in and had a look at the coverage vault page. So this is where you can start to make summaries. If you've not clicked on this link before, it lives just next to the books page on the top left-hand corner of your screen. And when you access the coverage vault, you will see a list of all of the coverage that you've ever imported to your account. And this will be since you signed up to Coverage Book. So it will be an historical record of all of the clips you've added. And I've added just under 1,600 in this particular account. There are lots of things that you can do in the Vault, and I would think of it as a place where you can search for, filter, and select coverage, and you can then create a new book and add coverage to existing books using this page. So it's quite a powerful tool to be able to evaluate coverage and also reuse it in lots of different ways, like making summaries. So starting in the top left, you will have a search bar. Now, this allows you to search for the publication or outlet name or the title of the article. So it's a really good way if you're trying to find a specific piece of coverage, you can come here and search for it. So for example, I can search for this piece of coverage, the conversation. If you click anywhere here or on the edit button, it actually opens up a view of that clip and you can make some edits directly from this screen. The other benefit of this is that it tells you how many different books that you've already used this piece of coverage in. So you can see here that I've used this in 3 different books so far. And if you want to, you can click on those links and it will take you to the clip inside that book. The next feature to mention with a single clip is that you are able to share a link directly to this clip. So if you are ever asked, oh, could you email me a link to that clipping? If you click on the share link on the top in the right corner here, and then click on create shareable link, this will create a quick share link just to that piece of coverage. So when you share this with someone else, they will see just this item, including the metrics. So it will look exactly like it will if you were to share this piece of coverage inside a report. So that's a really nice feature. Now, you'll notice that as I start to make selections, some filter options appear across this bar at the top. If you click on the X next to any of the filters, it will reset those back to the defaults again. So you can quickly clear your search selection to start again. Now, the next drop down is for media type. So as you start to import different coverage from perhaps social platforms or for online or print coverage, you can actually filter just by those platforms. So if somebody wants to know how many Instagram clippings you've got for a particular client, you can just quickly click on that and search just for the Instagram. You can then drill down one step further and look for coverage just inside your client's folders as well. So, for example, I can see that I've got 24 Instagram clips for women's football. And then finally, you also have a book search. So you can just type in the name of a book to find it, or you can scroll through the list. And this will allow you to see just the clippings inside a particular report as well. So you can really filter down to individual books. Now, before we look at the other features, I just wanted to mention that across the right-hand side as well, you will see that at the top of all of the columns, you've got some arrows. And these are really helpful because you can actually quickly filter by highest to lowest or newest to oldest on dates. So if somebody wanted to know, for example, what was the best performing piece of coverage for this particular client in terms of views or engagements, you could quickly just actually click onto this column and reorganize it. And you can see here that Sky Sports has got the highest number of views on Instagram for this particular client. So this is a really powerful view if you just wanted to find out the best performing pieces of coverage in terms of highest numbers. Now, the next filter down is a favorite of mine, actually, and it's the Just Highlights button. Now, I mentioned earlier that using highlights to pick out your best pieces for individual reports is a really good thing to do. Well, if you do that regularly and you're ever asked, let me just see the best pieces of coverage for my client, you can actually just come here and click on the Just Highlights button and it will show all of those best pieces for you. So if you're preparing a report for a quick awards ceremony, or perhaps somebody asks just what are the best pieces throughout the year, you can quickly find those. Now, once you have your coverage selected, you will see that there's a select all button, and you can also individually pick out pieces of coverage. Now, whichever option that you select, it will give you two further options, and you can either create a new book from this selection or add this selection to an existing book. So for example, if I wanted to create just a highlights 2023 book for all of these pieces of coverage, I could just click on create new book and then give it a title, coverage highlights 2023. And then I can just create that book and add the coverage, and we'll make that inside your account for you. So it's super quick and easy to recreate books using selected coverage. Now, the next two options are published at date and added at date. And the published on date will simply be, it will search for all of the coverage between the dates that it was published. And the added at date will be the date that you imported the coverage to your account. Now, the published at date can be a really, really good one, actually, because you can quickly just put in a start and end date for the year and then generate a report with all of those clippings in it. So you can basically get a roundup report in just a few clicks. Just make sure that all of the pieces of coverage for your client has a published date, otherwise it won't pick those up. So what you can do is filtering by your client. If you go across to the published column and just click to show the newest published items first, it will show all of the blank dates at the top. So I know just to go into this clip, and then I can just give it a published date. So 1st November 2023, and I can save that. So now when I make my book, I know that that clip will be included. And again, it's super easy to do. So you can just literally come here, select 1st of January 2023 and 31st of December. And then you can just select all of those clips and you can just add those straight to a new book. So it's super quick to make a summary over a date range. Now, the final option for creating summary reports is where you can actually start to add monthly reports together in different sections to create a really nice rolling report through the year. So to show you this as an example, for this particular client, I have created 12 reports from January all the way through to December. And I now want to merge all of those books together into individual sections by month so that I can tally up all of the numbers to share for end of year reports. And to do that, I'll go back to the coverage vault. I'll find my client. And now I can just search for the first book that I want to create, and that's the January 2023 coverage. It's probably worth mentioning at this point that if you don't do this already, I would suggest giving your books a very descriptive title so that you can find them more easily later on, especially if you tend to have lots of clients. So for example, I can just click on this January 2023 coverage book, select all clips, and I'm going to create a new summary. So I'm going to give this one a title. Just call it Coverage 2023. Now, the next field down will be the section name. So I want to call this one January 2023. Excuse me. There we go. And now I can just add that book. So now what I can do is I can just go back and search for February 2023, select all the clips from there, and then this time I'm going to click on Add Selection to Existing Book, make sure it's the right book, click on Next, and now I just want to create a new section, and we'll call this one February 2023, and now I can add those clips. So one by one, I'm just re-adding those books to a summary. And we'll just do one more book as well. So this time I'm going to dive back into the client folder, go to March 2023 coverage, select those clips, add them to the existing book, and select March 2023. And basically you can keep going for as many sections or as many books as you want to add in this way. And then when you go to view the book, you'll see that it starts to add all of those coverage into individual sections in the report for you. The metrics summary page will also tally up all of those metrics together in the report for you. It can take a minute or two for the metrics to update. So as you're adding different books to a summary report, you might see that the numbers take a short while to pull through, but they will be ready for you when you share the report. So it just takes a little bit of time to update. And just one final thing to mention, as we're practically just over 20 minutes now, if you would like to refresh the metrics in your report before you share, then from the overview page, you can click on the metrics and backlinks option. And you'll see that at the moment, the data is refreshing because I'm adding new items to the book. But perhaps if you've created this summary a little while ago, just remember to come here and click on refresh data, and we will update the report with the latest social shares and engagements so that you've got that ready to share with your clients. I think that's pretty much everything from me. Does anybody have any questions?
As the questions roll in or not roll in, everyone's been quite quiet on the chat. I'm hoping that means you've been very, very clear in everything you've been saying. Rather than bamboozled some people, but I'm pretty sure you're being clear. Especially like the coverage vault stuff, because I know that every time I speak to customers, often that place looks a bit confusing and daunting. So hopefully now everyone can see how useful it can be, especially sort of this time of year. We do have a question from Sam. Does creating a summary impact your subscriptions total of number of links allowed?
No, absolutely not. So the coverage vault contains all of your existing clippings. So you only incur usage when you actually add new items to your report. If you're just reusing monthly books to merge them together, that's fine. You can do that as much as you like, and it won't count towards your usage.
Perfect. And lots of people coming in say thank you. Thank you, Alyssa, Bailey, Anna, Nikki, Sherry. Glad you found that all useful. If is there any way to delete items from the vault, says Kim?
Yeah, really good question, Ken. At the moment, no. So if you import pieces of coverage, they will always show and they will always be saved in the vault. You can multi-select clips. So if you perhaps make a selection and you want to exclude certain clips, just make sure that you uncheck those when you're making things like summaries, and we won't include those in the report for you. But yeah, that's a really good suggestion, and it's something that I think we're keen to look at options for in the future.
Jessica asks, is there a way of getting back old books that you have archived or deleted?
Yes and no. If you choose to archive any book from your account, so if you click on the three dots, go to the bottom, and then click on yes to archive, that will go into your archives folder, and you'll see that at the very bottom of your list here. So you can go back into this archive folder at any point, and you can restore a book, and we'll just add that back to your account. But if you choose to come to the archive folder and permanently delete a book, it will be gone forever. So we will destroy that book from your account. It only deletes the book, however, because we do keep a record of all of the individual clippings that you've uploaded in the coverage vault area. So if you did need to try and go back, you could actually search for those clippings and then just recreate the book again using those items.
A few more questions are coming in. Do we have a recording of this session to share with your PR agencies? Yes, of course. I will send this recording to anyone that's registered tomorrow, but also there'll be one on our website. So, David, do you want to quickly show where all the archived webinars are as well?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So if you're logged into your account, if you go to the top, you've got some options here, but it's actually on our main website. So if you go to coveragebook.com, you will see in the help and resources section, we have the webinars link at the very bottom. This has all of the webinars that we've ever published. So there's quite a few on there already. There's loads of good stuff in there. Do check it out. As I say, we try to keep these to under half an hour, so hopefully they're nice and bite size. And we've pretty much covered most of Coverage Books features already, and we'll continue to make more.
So yeah, I'll send you a link to this recording, but we'll also add this to that page so you can pass it on to anybody else. Alison says, how can I add uncategorized books to an existing collection?
Okay. Yeah, that's simple to do. So all you need to do is go into the collection folder first, and you'll see that there's an import book button. And if you click on that, you can search for the book, and then you can import it into that collection folder, and then it will stay there. Actually, quite a handy hint is that if you do have lots of collections, I would recommend always creating a new book once you're inside that collection, because we'll automatically remember where it's supposed to go. So hopefully you won't have to worry about moving uncategorized books around.
And a good one from Dan is something like hidden tags on the roadmap. We usually manually add keywords like feature or review to the clip title, which makes them work through the search feature, but makes the name less messy and lengthy. What I'd probably suggest, Dan, is I'd love to know your email. If you could email in at support@coveragebook.com. It's something we're keen to explore. So I'd love to see a bit more about what you're doing and what you'd like to get out of that. If you would help us out, then that would be great. Yeah, it's something we're looking into. So I'd love to see what you're doing there.
Yeah.
And I think Will looks like he's covered the other questions on the chat. We're just approaching half an hour now. So I think everything looks like it's been answered. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. If you do have another question that comes to mind, feel free to contact us through the little chat icon at the bottom of your screen when you logged in, or through support@coveragebook.com, and we'll be happy to get back to you with anything else. Just thank yous are coming through. Brilliant. All right. Thank you everyone for joining us, and happy reporting.
Thanks everyone. Take care.